Hi everyone, and I'm Wesley. If you don't know me, I've had a few problems. Let me start from the beginning. I've got a lot going on in my life at the moment, as many of us do have. And this year started off pretty bad. I'm on Facebook. A lot of people are a bit worried about what's going on. A lot of people don't know. But I've got a message for people that are struggling, and you know. I wish everything works out for you. But if you're struggling and you can't really find a clear way out, what I've got to say might help you. I like to talk with my hands. That's just me. So let me start off with saying I started this year in jail. That's not me at all. I'm a quite a good person, but life has its problems, and I've had a problem for a long time, but I'm actually dealing with it now, and I feel good about that. So my problem was I was addicted to cocaine for like 13 years, and it takes a lot for somebody to just come out with that. But I'm just gonna be straight up with everyone, right? I'm on recovery right now. I'm 13 days clean. It's the 13th of 23 January, Friday the 13th. Look at that. So so I'm 13 days clean. I've been to 8 meetings, Narcotics Anonymous meetings, and that's a little bit about what this message is going to be about. Because I can see a lot of people struggling with this. It's a disease. So I've got a pamphlet from some of the meetings that I've been going to. It's called Narcotics Anonymous, and this is a seriously amazing message for people that really need to hear it. So I'm just gonna start off, and I'm just gonna read through it, and let's hope someone needs to hear this, because if I manage to help at least one person, which already this morning, I like to think that helped someone, because I've been in some dark times, and all these people, all these drug addicts that are in recovery, we're all the same. I think like them, and they think like me. We're not alone. So if you're feeling alone and you feel like there's no way out, you want to see there's an amazing life to make. So this message is basically about getting a life, getting your life back, getting to know who you are. So if you're struggling and you're stuck, just listen to this, and it might help you, it might not. But to me, it's helped me massively. Like I said, I'm 13 days clean, been to 8 meetings in a row. My life's changed around massively. So at the beginning of the year, as I said, I was in jail, went to court, problems with my addiction caused it. It'd been in circles, always going around in circles. Some of you might know that. Come Friday, you feel like it's Friday, right? And I'm not doing what I used to do. So, if you know me, you know what I'm kind of like. So I'm just going to start with this message. Well, let me just show you. There's quite a lot to read there, right? But it actually means quite a lot. So for anybody interested, like I say, leave a like, and I've got another pamphlet. You get this from your first meeting, and there's like little bits and sections. So if you like what I'm going to read in this for the newcomer, which I was there once, you don't get it right straight away. I tried it like 7 years ago, and it wasn't for me. I went out using again, and I went back to the rooms. They keep saying coming back, so. Well, like I said, if you like what I've got to say here, I'll do a message each day, because to me it might help me. If it helps somebody, awesome, because there's actually a group of people out there that are amazing, and they show love. I've been hugging people like I don't like to, it's weird hugging somebody. Complete strangers have absolute immense love towards you, so that's just great. So I'm gonna just get to it. Thanks. For the newcomer, NA is a non-profit. Let me go. NA is Narcotics Anonymous, okay? So for the newcomer, NA is a non-profit fellowship or society of men and women whom drugs have become a major problem. We are recovering addicts who meet regularly to help each other to stay clean. There are no dues, fees. The only requirements for membership is a desire to stop using. For me, I hated using. We know what it's like, if you can relate. So you don't have to be clean when you're here, but But after your first meeting, we suggest that you keep coming back and come clean. You don't have to wait for an overdose or jail sentence to get help from NA, nor is addiction a hopeless condition from which there is no recovery. It is possible to overcome the desire to stop using with the help of the 12 Steps programme of Narcotics Anonymous and the Fellowship of Recovering Addicts. Right. Addiction is a disease that can happen to anybody. Some of us use drugs because we enjoyed them, while others used to suppress the feelings we already had. Still, others suffer from physical and mental ailments and become addicted to the medication prescribed during illnesses. Some of us joined the crowd using drugs for a few times just to be cool and later found out that we couldn't stop. See, that's me, that last part. Just hanging in the crowds thinking, yeah man, I'll have a bit of that weed. I used to smoke it all the time when I was a kid. So nowadays, kids are all smoking weed thinking it's cool. Listen, you're all going to learn. You know, you have to go through it. I'm not going to say nothing much more on that. Right, so from there, many of us tried to overcome addiction and sometimes temporary relief was possible, but it was usually followed by an even deeper involvement than before. Whatever the circumstances, it really doesn't matter. Addiction is a progressive disease such as diabetes. We are allergic to drugs. Our ends are always the same. Jails, institutions are death. If life has become unmanageable and you don't want to live without it, being necessary to use drugs, we found a way. Here are the 12 steps of Narcotics Anonymous that we use on a daily basis to help us overcome our disease. Right? Some of you are thinking, drug addiction isn't a disease. Listen, let me tell you, this is the medication for this disease, whether you want to call it a disease or not. Right? I know there's haters, but you've just got to go with the flow for now. Right? So number 1. We admitted that we were powerless over our addiction, that our lives had become unmanageable. Number 2, we came to believe that a power greater than ourselves could restore us to sanity. Number 3, we made a decision to turn our will, our lives over to the care of God as we understood Him. I know you're thinking, oh no, I brought the God word up, but listen, you can just ignore the God for a little bit, just let us carry on. Right, we made a searching and fearless moral inventory of ourselves. Number 5, we admitted to God, to ourselves and to another human being the exact nature of our wrongs. Number 6, we were entirely ready to have God remove all these defects of character. We humbly asked Him to Number 7, we humbly asked Him to remove our shortcomings. Number 8, we made a list of all persons we had harmed and become willing to make amends to them all. Number 9, we made direct amends to such people wherever possible, except when to do so would injure them or others. Number 10, we continued to take personal inventory and when we were wrong, promptly admitted it. Number 11, we sought through prayer and meditation to improve our conscious contact with God as we understood Him, praying only for the knowledge of His will for us and the power to carry that out. So, number 12, having had a spiritual awakening as a result of these steps, we tried to carry this message to addicts and to practice these principles in all our affairs. So, there's a lot of God in there for them who think, oh God, but I believe I had a spiritual awakening in my first meeting when I came out of them cells. It hit me hard. I was crying during the meeting that we had. And I was crying all the way home because I knew I wasn't alone. And as we get through this little journey, because I'm just gonna keep you posted because I think I'm gonna get a bit of love from this because this message is so powerful. I'll carry on. Yeah. Recovery doesn't stop with just being clean, as we abstain from all drugs, and yes, that means alcohol and marijuana too. So marijuana is a weed for them that think, oh, marijuana, right? We come face to face with feelings that we have never coped with successfully. We even experience feelings we were not capable of having in the past. We must become willing to meet old and new feelings as they come. We learn to experience feelings and realise that they can do us no harm unless we act on them. Rather than acting on them, we call an NA member. If we have a feeling we cannot handle, by sharing, we learn to work through it. Chances are they've had a similar experience and can relate what worked for them. Remember, an addict alone is in bad company. The 12 steps, news friends, sponsors all help us to deal with these feelings. In NA, our joys are multiplied by sharing good days. Our sorrows are lessened by sharing the bad. For the first time in our lives, we don't have to experience anything alone. Now that we have a group, we are able to develop a relationship with a higher power that can always be with us. And that's a lot of that stuff beforehand about God. It's a higher power. If you believe things happen for a reason, which things happen for reasons, yeah, they really do. I prayed hard for something so unimaginable to happen to me, to make me know that there's God out there. And beginning of the year was not meant to be me in a jail cell, like my rock bottom that was. But I believe I'm being looked after, and stay with me in my journey, and I can go through that. So, carry on. We suggested that you look for a sponsor as soon as you become acquainted with a member in your area. Being asked to sponsor a new member is a privilege, so don't hesitate to ask someone. Sponsorship is a rewarding experience for both. We are all here to help and be helped. We who are recovering must share with you what we have learned in order to maintain our growth in the NA program and our ability to function without drugs. This program offers hope. All you have to bring with you is a desire to stop using and the willingness to try the new way of life. See? That right there is amazing because it works. Come to the meetings, listen with an open mind, ask questions, get phone numbers and use them. Stay clean just for today. May we also remind you that this is an anonymous program and your anonymity will be held to the strictest confidence. We are not interested in what or how much you used or who your connections were, what you have done in the past, how much or how little you have, but only in what you want to do about your problem and how we can help. So, that's to the newcomer. Pretty confusing. Let me tell you, I'm confused right now. But thanks for listening to that, because somebody out there might need to have heard that they're not alone. They're really not alone, and that is just a group of people who have been through the worst of the worst and come out clean. And I want some of that. I'm getting some of that, in fact. And because I believe that things happen for reasons, that's how I found my way back into them rooms. And, right, I'll tell you this, yeah. My first day back, it was in Victoria Hall in Bolton, behind McDonald's in that car park. It was like, it's a church. And the room where the recovery was, it was called Wesley Suite. So instantly I was thinking, oh, amazing, this is for me. I went down into that room, and I don't think I can share any much more because it's within a meeting and it's anonymous. So what stays in them rooms must stay in them rooms with strict confidence. There is no, you're not being surveillance, there's no police, there's nobody watching you, right? You're just with people who have struggled in life and I want to get out of it. So if you've got a struggle going on right now and it's got anything to do with drugs, I'm telling you now, you're not alone. We've all been there. It's a scary place, and it is a scary time to try and get through that. But I promise you, you come to one meeting and you'll find the love. You'll find the, like, you don't have to go through that chaos. Life's a choice. People think, right, addiction's not a disease. You chose to take that drug. We told you not to take it. Listen, you tell someone not to press that button over there, there's going to be someone who wants to press that button, and they're going to press it. So we got told not to use drugs. You've told us not to use drugs, so, let's see what the big, problem is about it. And then people with the disease can't get away from it because we've got problems as well. And we found, right, that addiction to drugs, is a mind-altering substance. We found it made us comfortable and happy and made us forget our worries. So for a long time, a lot of these people have suffered, and a lot of people are suffering right now. So if you know someone who's suffering with a similar problem, telling you, get onto Narcotics Anonymous, get in on NA on Google, group meetings, get to your first one, and you'll be surprised. So I'll just have a little talk about this book. There's like, Who is an Addict? I'll just read that one, and then if you like it, I'll move on to the next couple of things, right? Okay, because it can be a bit confusing. Who is an addict? Most of us do not have to think twice about this question. We know Our whole life and thinking was centered in drugs in one form or another. The getting and using and finding ways and means to get more. We live to use and use to live. We're very simply, an addict is a man or woman whose life is controlled by drugs. We are people in a grip of a continuing progressive illness whose ends are always the same: jails, institutions and death. Right? So, got goosebumps all over me. There's a serenity prayer. Let me just tell you this prayer, because thanks God for giving me this new life that I might lead in. Might be setting myself up for a little bit of a fall, but there's haters everywhere, you know. People don't like to see people succeeding, and right now I feel like I am succeeding, and I am succeeding because for me, I'm actually looking after me, and I love me right now. You know, I can look in the mirror and I'm happy with who I am. So, and I've only got that only recently through what's happened. So it's powerful stuff. So serenity prayer. God, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change and the courage to change the things I can and the wisdom to know the difference. At the end of every meeting, we do that. And it's amazing. It's just the love everyone's got in that group. Big up NA. Thanks, you know. No fees, no nothing. You know, if you've got a problem with drugs and you need help, I needed it. And thanks to NA being around, I'm finding myself slowly. It's a big, long journey. So yeah, I'm 13 days clean, 17 days away from getting the hardest chip, which is 30 days. If I had one on me, you normally get a white little keyring with NA for the newcomer. So I take one day at a time. Thanks everyone for listening. If you've watched it all the way through, may peace be with you. I love you so much. And we will speak again, because I'm sure I'll get a like on this. Thank you.